Hello everyone, this side Saumya Grover, Assistant Professor, Jagannath University, Jaipur. Today we'll start with our next unit, which is unit number 9, a newsroom. What is a newsroom? The setup and functions of a newsroom. A print media organizational structure specifies its division of work activities and shows how different activities are linked. It also indicates the distribution of work activities according to specialization and refers to the hierarchy, authority, structure, and relationships in the print media organization. Since time immemorial, a newspaper organization has been defined as three-legged table. That is, it has got three departments: editorial department, advertising department, circulation department. But today, it is much more than three-legged table. Though the above three departments are the core departments, yet many other important departments have also emerged, like printing department, administrative department, accounting department, personnel department, legal department, and public relations department. Editorial department. This department is headed by chief editor or editor-in-chief or editor and is divided into several sections like news section, views section, photo section, computer section, etc. The news section is further divided into newsroom and reporter's room. News editor heads the newsroom and it consists of many other staff like deputy news editor, chief sub-editors, senior sub-editors and sub-editors. They are all mainly responsible for editing news under the leadership of news editor. At the top, the editorial hierarchy ranks the editor or an editor-in-chief who plans and directs the day-to-day operations, supported by a team of news editors, chief sub-editors, senior sub-editors, and sub-editors. The news desk usually operates in shifts and each shift is headed by a chief sub, also called a slot man. Ideally, in a newspaper, it is the news editor who plans and directs page making, while the chief sub helps implement his decisions. The reporter's room is further divided into reporting wing and bureau wing. The reporting wing is headed by chief reporter and it consists of staff like senior reporter, sports reporter, city reporter, principal correspondent, senior correspondent and correspondents. On the other hand, Chief of the Bureau heads the Bureau wing and is also consists of special correspondent. The job of all of them is collection of news. The views section is further divided into editorial wing, article wing, feature wing and review wing. Here the performers are editor, resident editor, executive editor, associate editors or deputy editors and assistant editors. Chief photographer heads the photo section and there are many other photographers and a few photo editors also. Computer in charge heads the computer science and there are several other computer operators to support him. The newsroom is the hub of the entire activity in a newspaper, news agency, or a news channel. Called by different names, the editorial desk, editorial department, or copy desk or news desk. It is the nerve center of the newsroom. Here, the whole planning is done. However, in a news agency, the news desk edits and transmits stories to the newspaper or news channels, which further tailors these agency news stories. Newsroom organization. The organization of newsrooms has undergone a transformation. To understand the changes, a prospective editor must know what came before. The traditional newsroom structure ensures that four or five editors handle a story before it is printed. The copy desk backstops the desk where the story originates. Copy editors and an important editor called slot are the last line of defense against errors appearing in the paper. The theory is that many fresh pairs of eyes ensure quality. Today, some papers have switched to a team approach. Under this organization, the copy desk merges with desks or teams where the stories originate. More papers appear ready to adopt teams. The managers behind the team approach talk of empowerment, more responsibilities and duties for copy editors. Another buzzword is multitasking, which means an editor can write a headline. Many wonder if this system should be supported. Many of the features of the team approach may lead to quality to suffer. The traditional newsroom structure is hardly without its faults. Many editors find themselves locked into a routine job that offers little variety and rarely challenges their skills. Many young editors can do a variety of newsroom jobs, including editing, writing headlines, handling the wires, and layout. To confine such an editor to one job is to waste his or her skills and to lower morale. Day by day, the newsrooms have encouraged specializations. Previously, an editor who was good at editing foreign news did nothing else. A good headline writer mostly wrote headlines. A writer with a flair for photo captions was stuck on a photo caption desk. A veteran learned to adjust to these management innovations, knowing they will pass. In 20 years, newsrooms, once bastions of stability, have come to thrive on change. This structure, common today, has a managing editor, typically a male with strong reporting experience, perhaps a national reputation, would run the newsroom authoritatively. The city editor and feature sports and business editors would report to him, as would the news desk. The city editor and section editors had several assistants and many reporters assigned to their desks. The city desk and section editors would come up with story ideas and assign stories. They would get the first crack at reporters' copy. The news desk included the page 1 editor and several layout editors. The managing editor and the news desk decided to play the play of news stories. The page 1 editor, of course, laid out page 1 and the jump page, the page where stories from page 1 continue. The sports and features desk had their own copy desk, but the rest of the news would flow onto a copy desk headed by an editor called a slot. A round slot on a horseshoe shaped desk were 5 to 10 copy editors who read copy and wrote headlines and photo captions. On many newspapers, On many newspapers, copy editors also laid out inside pages and cropped and sized photos. This arrangement is called a universal desk. The copy desk is also called a rim. The slot gave the story a final read and decided whether to accept a copy editor's headline. The slot set the tone of the paper, changing headlines and cut lines to suit that tone. Editors and copy editors may also be assigned to teams. The teams are sorted out along the lines of traditional beats, including police, courts, education, city government, state capital, and environmental beats. Each team has a leader, several reporters, a layout editor, graphics artist, and copy editor. These are possibilities of rotating these jobs. The reporters, team leader, and other editors sit down and discuss a story idea. A reporter does the story and hands it to the team leader. The story gets several reads from the team leader and copy editor. The graphics artist come up with the ideas for illustration, while the layout editor designs the page or part of the page where the story would appear. The copy editor writes headlines, cut lines, and other graphic elements just for the team's project. Under the team approach, copy gets reads from the team leader and copy editor. If the managing editor takes an interest, the story gets another read, mostly for content. In a traditional newsroom, the story is read by the assigning editor, the city editor, a copy editor, the layout editor, and the slot. If you are a reporter, you don't like many editors tinkering with your story. If you are an editor, you want to have another copy editor read it on page proof just to be sure. To summarize, traditional newsroom have desks where copy originates and desks that check the work of reporters and originating editors. The former are called originating or source desks and the latter are called copy desks. Newsrooms with teams have merged the copy desk with the originating desks. The copy editor still backstops the reporter and team leader, but joins the process early in the development of a story. The slot, an editor who once wielded considerable power, has disappeared at newspapers using the team approach. Newsroom players. Newsroom positions, titles, and job descriptions vary from paper to paper. The following list is merely a guide to help you understand the information on the introductory pages to this course. Small papers tend to combine editing and layout tasks under one job. The editor or editor-in-chief is responsible for all content in the paper, from news and editorials to features and cartoons. This editor represents the paper to the community. Atop of the originational ladder, this editor is answerable to the publisher and the community the paper serves. Editorial page editor. The editorial page editor writes editorials, oversees editorial writers, and selects opinion pieces for the op-ed page. Many papers have an editorial board led by the editorial page editor. The editorial board helps decide which positions and candidates the paper should support. News editor. The managing editor supervises daily newsroom operations. This editor decides which stories will appear on page 1. At larger papers, this editor has several assistants. The managing editor often consults with the city editor and section editors to ensure the paper is covering its community. The news editor-in-chief concern is laying out page 1 and the jump page, the page where stories continue from page 1. Deputy News Editor. The deputy editor is the second in command at a newspaper, magazine, or website who takes over the editor's role in the editor's absence. The role performed by the deputy editor depends very much on the management structure of the publisher. In some cases, they might operate like a section editor, while in others, they will take on some of the editor's workload. In some cases, the editor's deputy may have the job title of assistant editor. At some publications, there may be both a deputy editor and an assistant editor. Some may also do writing. Their role will differ depending on the publication and whether or not there is a working editor above them or not. Editorial duties may include organizing content, reviewing material, aiding in design, and coming up with story ideas. They will also supervise writers in the absence of a senior editor. City editor. The job of city editor can be toughest in the newsroom. The city editor oversees a staff of local reporters, including bureau, beat, and general assignment reporters. If the paper misses local story, the city editor is answerable. Often, the city editor has assistants who help edit local copy and ensure coverage of local news. At many papers, a city editor remains in the job for only a few years. Section editors. The food, entertainment, features, and business sections at larger papers have editors who oversee their own reporting and editing staffs. Section pages often are produced in advance of the hard news pages. Wire editor. Large newspapers usually have a foreign and national wire editor who sorts through the hundreds of stories filed daily by the Associated Press and supplemental news service such as the New York Times, Washington Post, and Los Angeles Times. The wire editor selects, trims, and edits wire stories before sending them to the copy desk for polishing. Copy editors or sub-editors. A sub-editor is a presenter of news and reports. He has a lawyer, analytical approach, and quick mindedness which enable him to understand a story quickly and come to the core of the matter. Copy editors backstop other editors, editing for style, grammar, accuracy, consistency, content, and organization. And well, the list goes on. He has to give suitable headlines and, where necessary, revise the condense the material to suit the available space. This is rather a difficult task which requires skill, flair for writing, and mastery over the language. More often than not, a sub-editor has to deal with the reports of different reporters. In such cases, he has to get the main points from all the reports and then present them in a logical and interesting narrative. All these things have got to be done in time in order to reach the press before it is too late. Sub-editors often specialize in a particular field such as foreign news, sports, film, commerce, etc. Photo and graphics editor. The photo and graphics editors supervise photographers and graphic artists. These editors work with other major editors to plan photo and graphic possibilities for news and feature. The specific functions of a news editor can vary depending on the organization and its size, but here are some common responsibilities. News planning. The news editor is responsible for planning the coverage of news story and assigning reporters to cover specific beats or assignments. They determine the priority and prominence of different stories, considering factors such as newsworthiness, audience interest, and available resources. Content coordination. The news editor coordinates with reporters, photographers, and other staff members to gather and produce news content. They review and evaluate story pitches, provide guidance and feedback to journalists, and ensure the timely delivery of articles, photographs, and other media elements. Editing and proofreading. The news editor reviews and edits news articles for accuracy, clarity, grammar, style, and adherence to editorial guidelines. They ensure that the content is free from errors, biases, and legal or ethical concerns. Proofreading is also part of their responsibility to maintain high quality standards. Fact checking. The news editor oversees the fact checking process, verifying the accuracy and reliability of information presented in the news articles. They ensure that sources are properly cited, claims are supported by evidence, and potential biases or inaccuracies are addressed. News judgment. The news editor exercises news judgments to determine the importance and relevance of different stories. They make decisions regarding story placement, headlines, and visuals to engage readers and maximize the impact of news content. Ethical standards. The news editor upholds ethical standards in journalism, ensuring that the newsroom operates with integrity, fairness, and objectivity. They guide journalists on ethical dilemmas, handle complaints or corrections, and address issues related to conflicts of interest or journalistic integrity. Collaboration and communication. The news editor collaborates with other editors, journalists, and departments within the newspaper organization to ensure smooth operations and effective news coverage. They communicate with reporters, photographers, and sources, providing guidance, feedback, and instructions as needed. Newsroom management. The news editor is responsible for managing the newsroom, including staff assignments, training, and performance evaluation. They may oversee hiring decisions, mentor junior journalists, and develop strategies for enhancing the quality and impact of news content. Overall, the news editor plays a critical role in shaping the news coverage of a newspaper, maintaining journalistic standards, and ensuring the delivery of reliable and engaging news to the readers. The chief editor, also known as the editor in chief, holds the highest editorial position in a newspaper and has overall responsibility for the content, direction, and quality of the publication. Their functions encompass strategic decision making, leadership, and ensuring that the newspaper meets its journalistic and business goals. Day by day, the newsroom have encouraged specialization. Previously, an editor who was good at editing foreign news did nothing else. A good headline writer mostly wrote headlines. A writer with a flair for photo captions was stuck on a photo caption desk. A veteran learns to adjust to these management innovations, knowing they will pass. In 20 years, newsroom once bastions of stability have come to thrive on change. The sub is a versatile man in the newspaper. He knows something of everything and everything of something. He can be depended upon to handle any kind of copy home, foreign, financial and commercial sports, etc. His sound general education and training will help him edit easily and efficiently all kinds of copy full of technical terms and complicated issues. That is all for today. We will study about the chief sub-editor, the sub-editor, the news bureau chief, the staff reporters, correspondents, bureau chief, news editor, sub-editor, chief sub-editor in the next unit. Thank you very much.